Hello, hello. Welcome to today's stream. Going to be getting into the new Ingersoll Lockwood drop. Always an interesting one. Let's go. Look at that. Great. Great to see. And then, yep, let's get over there. So, today in the world of Ingersoll Lockwood, if you're unfamiliar, it is our friendly website, ingersolllockwood.com. Link in the description, provided a little bit later. But at the current moment, we've got our friend the rabbit, which will get updated every once in a while on this website. And today, looks like we've got an interesting one. Nothing burger, distraction, stolen fruitcakes, and nuts running the show. 41020. So, if you are unaware, they tend to post these very interesting little Easter eggs on their website. They also have links supporting a lot of American companies and the like. They seem to be very pro America. I'm not sure what they have to do with any of the associations that they propagate, but it is always interesting to dive into these because whoever's working on this stuff, it's quite a creative imagination. And as you can see, they are definitely quite political and can be very foreboding, foretelling, and this is usually a representation of the current climate in the West, usually the world, really. What happens in the West tends to follow everywhere else, as we can see with DEI weaving its way into the fabric of not only our society, but pretty much every other first world, second world, third world nation, everywhere. At this point, if you're unaware, it's pretty much weaving itself into the fabric of society, bought and paid for by really the American taxpayers. We have been funding this for the longest time. Pretty much going back, really, Nixon, going back really quite a ways. I'm sure the longer you keep digging, it just keeps going further and further back, really. Probably all the way until some of the founding fathers, honestly, at least after the founding, because complacency comes with its downsides for sure. So, anyway, let's get into delving a little bit into what we're seeing here. Obviously, taxpayer money, 100%. The elites standing on top of that, just poor old America trying to, we're just trying to water our lawn, and it's like we have an octogenarian, geriatric, half black Chinese man trying to strangle us. He's on our back and he's trying to strangle us. I mean, there is so much influence from other parties at this point in our presidency. It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And I think a half black Chinese octogenarian is a is a great analogy for what is actually pulling the strings behind much of what's going on. So, to further elaborate, a lot of the inflation, bioweapons, illegals, crime, war, all par for the course. Looks like we've got we've got a very interesting detail with the front of these dollar bills, essentially. It is not who you would expect. It is not your friend Washington, but appears to be scrubbed out, which, again, there's always very little intricacies going on with these. Uniparty debt. That doesn't actually help. Lies, lies, lies. Now, this could be an analogy for the Zionists and the fact that a lot of the globalists are very intellectually pursuant. And it's the reason why they tend to ignore a lot of the things going on and just totally dismissive of really any type of moral value that you would expect from a normal human being. Much to do with the fact that these people consider themselves such intellects that it really is like that is the higher power that they try to attain, is power and knowledge, and really to keep that for themselves. That's for sure. There's nothing burger out here, obviously, as the distraction. While all of this is happening right in front of our faces, essentially. Now, I don't know if the aliens are involved, but at the very least, the fact that they are pursuant of higher technologies, really to the point that it was amazing. I was actually watching this movie the other day, and even though it goes to show the level of international interests affecting our own country and media production. Anyway, on Peacock, which is one of the strangest streaming platforms, I have to say, when you start to look into the movies that are on Peacock, there's actually a lot of international stuff on there. But anyway, one of these movies is called Attraction, and it's a movie about aliens, and basically like a spaceship crashes into the earth. It's a total Russian production for the most part. It's actually amazing, the level of special effects in this movie, especially that it's like a different type of, design and production, and it's really well done in many ways. But anyway, in the second one, there is an Attraction 2 Invasion. But anyway, there's a part of that movie basically where an alien AI is able to like hijack every asset of the digital world on Earth, and it can very easily, instantaneously manipulate all of the media sources. It generates people's images, voices. It starts making military decisions and commands because nobody can actually like understand all of this right away. So this thing is ahead of us in that way. Anyway, what they can do with AI now is at that level where they can completely manipulate society. So in their mind, it's very likely that they think it's totally possible that they can run this world with a few million people. And it's a very weird thing to think that they actually believe that. But to some degree, that is definitely where their ideas and their intentions are headed. And that is really what they want to do. If they've been controlling us with analog media and all of this other stuff that really takes so much to really impregnate all those aspects of society and control them. Imagine if they were able to do it at that level, what they would be able to do with a digital medium and AI, these satellites, everything being able to communicate at once. It's like people were getting phone calls. Basically, everybody on the planet got phone calls to go after this individual woman who was actually the person responsible for like basically saving the earth. So it was like this evil AI just got everybody instantly thinking that this woman was like gonna be the end of everything. Meanwhile, it was the exact opposite situation. And it's a lot what you see in nowadays, for sure. And I think that it's always interesting to get into the Ingersoll Lockwood, because sometimes you have a friendly neighborhood bunny that's usually showing up in these, but now it seems to be taken over by our geriatric over here, geriatric billionaire trying to ascend, touch his friends in the alien outpost. But overall, you have to be optimistic, and I really do think the best way to fight against a lot of what's going on right now is, in some part, to ignore it, because mental health is extremely important, and it's a big thing what they're trying to attack, to be quite honest. The family structure, that's really first and foremost, but it's underlying ultimately in society, because we can't really push people to get in relationships if they're not even capable of doing that, or not even in a good place to be doing that, starting families and all that. It is a lot of responsibility. But anyway, I think a big thing is using what they're doing against them as well. Because if they want to take us to an apocalyptic extreme of goodwill and bad intentions, I mean, it's like the squatter situation in New York, you know? In some way, isn't it right to play at their game in a way? And like abuse these systems till like they have to be looked at objectively. In some way, I think just informing people really, well, actually the ideas might be getting mixed here, but anyway, I think a critical thing as well is to enlighten a lot of these people coming in, because they're going to be used as a tool against us. And would it not be better for us to have them on our side, in a sense? I mean, I'm watching this show as well called Griselda, about a very real figure that was in New York, and she was first from Colombia, then in Miami, Florida, and then in apparently New York City, pretty much like 3 miles away from where I live. This lady was like completely locking down the entire Roosevelt Avenue. Drugs, crime, people getting killed. Anyway, though, she utilized the Cuban prisoners that were released over into Florida against the American people in a way. And it was like, for their own prosperity, they like banded together with us as the common enemy. So, we really need to keep these things into account, that like in an individualized way, in a bubble, in a vacuum. Sure, these people don't belong here, and they're mooching off of our system. Not only that, but they are being given stuff by our elected officials that are supposed to represent us, the citizens, the nationals, the residents of this country. It's not fair to the people who went through the right processes, who immigrated, migrated here the right way, actually had just causes. But anyway, at this point, you really have to keep into consideration all the things that will be happening, regardless of what should be happening. So, I really think that not having an animosity toward these people, sure, the ones breaking the law, the ones, contributing to any of this chaos, yes, but the others should be informed. They should be informed that, look, the same things that have been done to us, they are going to do to these new Americans. All of these new Americans have no idea what's going to happen if they, get rid of us in that way. We're the only ones who know what this government, what the media, what everybody has been doing for so long in this country. So they better hope that there's some remnant of us left. Otherwise, they're really going to be taken for a ride. If we got bamboozled, imagine how these people coming in, zero knowledge of how it's even supposed to work. So it's like, forget about it. They have no idea what they're in for. And I think a lot of these people know that, in a sense, that it's like, they don't want that. But if it is easier for them to go in that direction, they probably will. So I think it's important to maintain our values as Americans, but do not compromise to the point that we're allowing what has taken hold in this country, that they're basically taking over so many different assets, facets, industries, institutions at this point. It's pretty wild. It's absolutely wild. So with that, that is our new Ingersoll Lockwood drop for March 26, 2024. Thank you for joining me. And as always, there's plenty of other content. I have a podcast. Follow the links down in the description. I appreciate you all. Thank you very much. We'll try to be back with more of these. I always got too many things going on, but I definitely need to give it a routine check. Thank you all for tuning in.